Hey Gator fans, I am here with somebody that knows a little bit about football, the legendary Shane Matthews. Shane, we're just going to hop right into it. Obviously, we were all in awe of DJ's play, so we'll get into what's next. But first, I want to give you a moment to talk about your thoughts watching and then probably rewatching this game last week.
I will say this. DJ played very well for a freshman, very poised, made some really good plays, probably made a few bad plays that us fans didn't see because we don't have the game tape. But it was Sanford. Take nothing away from that. He made some beautiful throws. Like I said, he was very composed. He's a playmaker. Sanford was one of the worst FCS teams I've seen in quite some time. I was shocked at how bad they were, especially offensively, because that's a air raid Mike Leach disciple, and they weren't very good on that side of the ball. But it gives Gator fans hope with the play of DJ, and we'll see how he plays against A&M this week.
So, you mentioned opponent, and obviously Sanford is Sanford, but how do you translate that experience that he got against a lesser opponent into this week?
Well, that's a great question. It's hard to, because so there was rumors out there that supposedly Russ Callaway called the plays against Miami and that Billy was going to call the plays for Sanford. We saw play calls that we have not seen around here. A lot of deep shots, playing our fast wide receivers, which I've been begging for.
Yeah.
Now we have, because, I guess when you're a play caller, you should be able to block an undersized front by Sanford. You're going to be able to run by their DBs. We did that. You still got to throw and catch, and we did that very well. So it's hard to really look at with an opponent like this compared to an SEC caliber roster. We know we've struggled on the interior line on both sides of the ball the last few years. That's what it boils down to me, is can we block and can we pressure the opposing quarterback?
So to that end, does it even matter who starts if we can't do those things?
Well, like I said, I feel like this football team has way more issues than who the starting quarterback is. I think both of them are going to play. I think Graham will start. I have no inside information, but I just got that feeling. Even Coach Spurrier said he would start Graham. Here's what I would say, because a lot of people would text and send comments about my show, about how can Billy Napier, having DJ and Graham here, competing and training since January, how could you have chosen Graham Mertz over DJ? Well, I'll be honest with you. I went to several practices and scrimmages, and I was like, there's no way DJ plays this year. Because he would make one or two great throws and then 5 or 6 really, really bad throws or mistakes or what have you. And I'm just like, got a lot of talent, but he's a freshman. You just can't put him in a game. And maybe he's that type of player that's not very good in practice, but when the lights come on, he's outstanding.
Yeah.
So time will tell. But we know he's extremely talented, has a huge upside. There's no question. I think he's a more polished passer than Anthony was. They're very similar. But, time will tell. And it's going to be interesting to see how they rotate, or, is it by series or whatever, this week against the Aggies.
So, you mentioned some of the things that you've said on your show, and I know last week you said something about one of Lagway's throws being the best throw that you've ever seen. What did you see on tape that gave that kind of reaction? I feel like you've seen a lot of really good quarterbacks in your time.
Well, I have, but I don't think the people that saw the tweet didn't read the entirety of the tweet, and it had a smiley face on it. And what I said was, it was the best throw that I've seen since I've been watching games in the swamp. I don't know if a Spurrier quarterback could have made that throw. And it's referring to the one that he stepped up and jumped off his front left foot and fired Mizell. Because a Spurrier quarterback wouldn't do that, because they're extremely fundamentally sound. That's not a fundamentally sound way to throw the ball.
Right.
And I never watched a Spurrier quarterback in live in the swamp. I was pro ball. So that's why I had the smiley face. But yeah, it was an incredible throw. And, that's the thing that I think fans get so excited about. I've always said, back in the day, remember the commercial, Chicks Dig the Long Ball?
Yeah.
Fans love the deep ball.
It's fun.
The deep ball, quite honestly, is the easiest throw to make in football. It's the safest throw because you may have to just read one guy or just have your head position looking a guy off and then just fire it deep to that area. And DJ did that very well, and we ran by guys. And when you get separation, that makes a makes it a lot easier.
Now, we've talked about the decision that Coach Napier makes and why it looks like it'll be Mertz as the starter. But do you think that the rotation that happens is scripted? Do you think it's based on Mertz's performance? Like, does he have a shorter leash than maybe he would have had we not seen Lagway for an entire game against Stanford?
Possibly. It's tough to say because, I still think, you go back to, and sometimes practice is overrated. I think players and coaches see what happens in practice, and then sometimes you're timid to put someone in a game. And I think that happens a lot with our wide receivers. Whether they drop a ball or whatever in practice, they don't want to play them. I don't care if you drop balls in practice, as long as you catch them on game day, and you're still going to drop some balls on game day. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if Graham's on a short leash because I know this team still believes in him. Sure. I mean, it was his team until we played Stanford.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to take anything away from what DJ did because it was a tremendous performance, but it was Stanford. And I hope when he does play, he plays that way against SEC caliber players.
Do you think that, if obviously we think he's going with Mertz as a starter, but if he goes with Lagway, even if UF loses, do you think that there are fans that show more grace to that because it's at least showing you that there's hope down the road, that you have this, this stud quarterback on the bench who is the future?
Well, yes, I think everybody knows he's the future.
Yeah.
Regardless of who the coach is next year. Whether it's Billy or another coach that comes in here. This is a big year. I think we've talked about it all season that it's year 3 for Napier. We have to see something different. And I don't know if we have. It depends on how you look at it. So we know the strength of the schedule, all that nonsense. But, the A&M, Mississippi State, UCF games are crucial for this football team and for the coaching staff moving forward. I feel like we got to win all of them, or we're going to be sitting here talking about what everybody thought might happen at the end of the year.
Okay, so let's pretend that you're the head coach for Saturday. What percentage do you play each quarterback?
Well, that's tough to say. Here's what I would say, Allie, is I want to see us call a game like we called it against Stanford. Okay? I think everybody can agree we have not seen anything like that play calling since Billy's been calling plays.
Mm-hmm. And
I mean aggressiveness, throwing it down the field. Now, was it because Billy knew we could block them and outrun them and throw it over their heads? Wasn't worried about their guy out-manning ours? That's what I want to see. I don't care who the quarterback is. I want to see us put our 3 best wide receivers on the field the entire game, unless they need a breather, which I would go with Trey Wilson, obviously. I would go with Aiden Mizell, and I would play DK and Badger and so those 4 would be my guys. We're always going to play a tight end, so you're never going to go 4 wides. But those are the guys I would play them until they need IVs because we need speed on the field. And regardless of who the quarterback is, that's what I would do. And I would be aggressive and take shots like we did against Stanford.